Welcome back to the At Home with Roby show. I'm Ashley Davis, and along with Trent Haston from the Roby family of companies, we're your hosts. Visit us today at andrewroby.com. That's Andrew, R-O-B-Y.com. Trent, before the break, you're down at the beach. We're talking about your end of summer vacation. We're talking about getting back into routines. A lot of times what people do when they come back from vacation, they get into a routine. They realize they've spent that summer, and there are a few things around the house they want to get done. So that routine sometimes involves home renovations, and that is really at the core of what the Andrew Roby Company is all about. Yes.
Actually, we've been in business 65 years, and I tell the story all the time. We grow out of Charlotte. We're Charlotte-based. Charlotte's our home. It's what the business is about. It'll be the centrifuge location of our growth, hopefully beyond where we're at now at some point in time. But for the better part of the 65 years, at least for the first 50, that I kind of came into and drove the dump truck for when I was a teenager and all that good stuff, was home renovations, large renovations, small renovations, remodeling, home upkeep. And that's what we're spinning to grow our company, is that brand that we had built for 50 years, from 1950 to 2000. And as we started to grow, we brought on great teammates that are still with us and are making us what we are today in that segment. And Brian Storm, I'm glad to have you here. I think Brian just said he's been with us since May of 2008. We're going to talk about the Cornhole Tournament later. It started in the fall of 2008, so Brian's been here every year of the Cornhole Tournament. Welcome, Brian.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
So, Brian, you're out in the field every day. You're working with clients. We talked about routines, people getting back into that routine when school's back in. What are you seeing when you're talking to clients now in the field about things that they're doing? And then maybe take us through that process a little bit. You and Trent both can talk about how the Andrew Roby Company can help people make their home really a lot more livable.
Sure. We can always see, the very popular renovations of kitchens and bathrooms and master suites, things like that. This year, probably more so than most in my career, I've seen a lot of the larger renovations starting to pop back up. And we're not talking about, kitchen size. We're talking, basically taking a whole house and gutting it and redoing it. And I think that's attributed to a little bit of the active real estate market, a little bit better of an economy this year than we've had previously. But people are starting to, I guess, open their checkbook up a little bit more than in previous years.
Right.
But I think one thing that I've noticed a lot of change, and I think you guys have mentioned this on previous shows, is as our brand has grown, we're starting to see more people coming to us as a first point of contact, and we're getting a chance to go out and, bring in the architect and designer into the mix, and kind of being a one-stop shop for people. Our architects and designers feed our business and always had, and they're so important to what we do every day. But it's fun to kind of see the evolution.
Absolutely. And Trent, that's the triangle, right? I mean, you've talked about the triangle on previous shows, and that's really how you guys provide what I think is just incredible customer service.
Yeah, it's the designer, architect, equal points on the triangle, three of them. Designer, architect, homeowner, and builder, contractor. And that's us. That's our point on a triangle. But something Brian's talking about, I mean, he's been with us 7 years. I've been full-time in the business for 15 years, since 2000. Designers and architects are customers of ours, just like homeowners and business owners that own buildings are customers on the commercial side as well. But as our brand has evolved and as our talent pool has increased and our experience has increased and we've grown past the Hastings, love my dad, love what I know, love my brother for everything he knows. But over the last 15 years, as we've branched out and grown the business associate-wise, client-wise, and brand-wise, now our customers trust us. We're the trusted source. They call us and help us navigate through their design needs, which we cater to the designers and architects, and we have allies. But they ask us when they need them and when they don't need them, and you don't need them on everything. They don't need an architect when they're doing rot repair, matching what's on the house, which hey, homeowners in Charlotte, North Carolina, something you got to do. We have water and we have humidity. So, but if you're changing your windows, I know Brian had that note to talk about, something we do a lot of in the winter and summer, something I see good value in. But you might change your window design a little bit and add mutton bars or grids that add an architectural appeal to your home that you currently don't have. And that's where we come in and say, hey, let's get some advice. Let's spend a little bit of money here and bring in the other part of the team and get some advice.
I like that comment, Trent, that you made, that designers and architects are also, they're not just your allies, they're your clients, right? That's how you approach them, and I think that's why clients, the end client, the consumer that's building that house or renovating that house, enjoys working with you, because they know you're not out there trying to fight for that dollar. You're trying to do what's best for the end client, the consumer at the home. So, Brian, you mentioned whole house renovations, bathrooms, kitchens. That's a daunting task when you're going to think about doing something like that. What is it about the Andrew Roby family and your team specifically that helps people through that process?
Well, I can kind of look at a couple examples of clients that I've met. I mean, just yesterday I was at a house in Dilworth. First time I met with the homeowner was almost a year ago now. Same house, they had just bought it, working through the process of getting an architect involved to do this larger renovation. And they've been planning this thing for a full year. And Dilworth is a little bit different, that you have a historic district to get through, so you have a little bit more hurdle than usual. But it is a lot of planning. There's a lot that goes into it. And we get a chance on a client like that to be involved at the early stages. So we know the project inside and out. We get a chance to know the homeowner, really what their goals, what they previous experiences, what has gone well, what hasn't gone well. And it allows us to achieve a better customer service than just meeting that person one time and getting into it and kind of feeling out that relationship as we get into a renovation. Because there's things, the longer you spend with people, you just don't get a chance to know them that well.
You get a flavor for what they want, and then it's more than just swinging hammers, so to speak. It's really designing their home.
Yeah, and I've always thought that anybody can build a house, anybody can do a renovation, but without that personal touch and that relationship and being able to really be there when they need you to be there, there's really not much that distinguishes one contractor from another.
Right, you're exactly right.
So, I mean, my best clients are people that I have good relationships with.
Right, and Trent, you mentioned earlier you've kind of grown it from the family business, and you got people like Brian now that you can rely on.
Well, Charlotte audience, I'm going to teach you a business term or enlighten you to something that I learned late in my career. It's called monkey paw, and what a monkey paw is in the business world is you get your foot in the door, and it opens up. Hopefully, if you do a good job, it opens up a Pandora's box in a successful relationship. Something that I pride ourselves on, and what Brian's good at doing with these relationship clients, is we do the small stuff. And the small stuff, though it gets you in the door and hopefully gets you the larger stuff, gets you their new home when they build a new home, gets you their friends and their kids' relationships for generations. But the small stuff is hard to do. And if you do the small stuff incorrectly, or somebody gets a bad taste, your monkey paw goes awry. We love doing the small stuff. I mean, I heard my dad and my brother say for years and years, that my brother still says it all the time, and I'm saying it now. But in the early 2000s, when the Charlotte market was heating up in custom construction, we kept doing the small stuff for our clients. A lot of our competitors, our long-term competitors, said, no, we don't do small stuff anymore. We just do the big stuff. And it backfired on them during the recession, and I really think that what got us through the recession was the small stuff and catering to the clients' routine and the stuff they had to do, and helping them create value in their home or their business property. And for that, that's why we have the relationships we have today. Brian, would you agree with that? I mean, you're really good at catering to our clients, and that way you bought into our system.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I can count countless times on that the small stuff that we've done well has just led to a great relationship. moving forward.
That's where you got to take care of the small stuff. I mean, whether you're building a house or life in general, you got to you can't sweat it, but you got to take care of the small stuff. Brian, can you hang with us? We got to take a break. And Trent, that was a great point you just made. You talked about the small stuff. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of those smaller things you can do around your house as you get back into that routine to freshen it up. You're listening to the At Home with Roby show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.